Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Zoe,
I'm Mark.
and we are the Board Adventurers. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a fresh off-the-shelf review of SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This is designed by Tomas Holek, apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, and published by CGE Games.
So we're going to try to condense how to set up and play SETI in the most coherent way possible. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up the main board, which is this huge circle along with the planetary on top, and then the tech board on the bottom. You're going to take the sun piece, which is this little piece right here, this orange piece, and you're going to put it in the middle of this these three pieces here. So the sun's going to be in the center with the smallest piece on top, the middle piece in the middle, and the large piece on the bottom, and then down on flat on the board. You're then going to line up the lines on this on the board, and you're going to set it to a random configuration. You're going to take the credits and the energy, and you're going to set it to the side, along with the data, which are these tokens. So this is the data, the blue, and then these are the energy. And there are credits here that are the yellow. So you're going to set these all to the side. You're going to take the deck of cards, you're going to shuffle it, and you're going to deal out 3 cards face up. That'll be your card row. You're going to take your gold scoring tiles, which are these milestone tiles. You can kind of see them right here. You'll set them on the right side of the board, and you're going to flip them to a random configuration. You're going to take all of the technology that you have, and you're going to shuffle them, and you're going to stack them based on the symbol on the front. You'll flip them to the back, and then you'll shuffle it and place a 2-point marker on each of those just as a setup. You're going to take the deck. You're going to deal out 1 card for each player, plus 1 for each round, and they're going to go at the very top of the technology area, the piece that comes out. And then you're going to take the data. So on the board, you're going to have these little inlets that can fit these little data pieces. You're going to put these all out into a circle, and you're going to fill in data that it fills the entire length of this piece right here. And you'll see that they have different colors. So this is yellow, this is blue, this is red, there's another piece that's black. And then if you're playing in a 2 or 3 player game, you're going to have a neutral milestone setup. So there's going to be a little marker that's going to be placed on the top by a marker that's of a color not in the game. You're going to set it at the 20 space and at the 30 space. Yes. Then you're going to set up your own personal board. So you're going to have your own board right here. You'll take this board, and then you're going to take a color, one of the colors that are available. You're going to then get one of these personalized pieces. So this is basically like your observatory that you're using for the game. You're going to flip it over, and you're going to take all the resources that are on the back of that card. So I believe typically you're going to start off with 4 publicity, 4 credits, 3 energy, and you're going to draw 5 cards from the deck. Of those 5 cards, you're going to immediately take one and place it into income. So your income starts off right over here. Any card that you tuck into income is that symbol on any of these cards has a lower right symbol here that will be tucked in for income. When you tuck that for income, you're going to immediately get whatever is that income, just that 1 card that you put in there. And with that, you're ready to play SETI. So your first question might be, how do you win this game? It's a good question. So the player that wins is the player that has the most victory points at the end of the game. And there's multiple ways of getting victory points in this game. But we're just going to go over the actions that you can do in this game. So the first thing you can do is land a probe. You're going to pay 2 credits, and you're going to put one of your available probes onto Earth. So it has to start on Earth. You can only have 1 probe out on the planetary board at a time, unless you have a technology that lets you have a second. The second action you can do is an orbit. So whenever you reach a planet, whenever you have a probe out there, you have a free action. So maybe I'm just taking a step back here. You have main actions, which are, say, your probe, your orbit, and you have a number of free actions you can do, and movement is one of them. So as a free action, you can discard a card from your hand. So let's say you have one here. This has a card in your hand that has this movement. You can discard a card from your hand to move your probe along that board one space. When you move it, if you move into a space that has an asteroid, you need one additional movement to move it out of that asteroid space. But otherwise, if it's open space, you can move it freely in one space. The other way you can do it is if you spend one energy. You can then spend an energy to move your probe as needed. When you're at a planet, you can now either orbit or you can land on the planet. When you orbit, you're going to pay one energy and one credit to then move your probe into the arc that is above one of the planets that are out on the planetary board. You're then going to get the reward that's based on top of that. To land, you're going to pay 3 credits to land on the planet, or you're going to pay 2 if there's already an existing orbiter somewhere above the planet. And again, you're going to get the reward based on that planet that you land on. There are moons that are out there. You cannot land on a moon unless you have the technology or you play a card that lets you land on the moon of any of those planets. Next, you have a scan action. So scanning involves your area up here. So this is your top right of your player board. So you're going to run as many available scans as you have up here. So the main one is that your base scan is you're going to scan in the area where Earth is. So you're going to check the sector, the pie piece that Earth is in. At the very top, there's where you're going to put the data points. You're going to take one of your pieces and you're going to replace it with the leftmost data piece. And you're going to put your data point in here. As a free action, you can apply your data from left to right, but you always have to go right if you can. The second action for scanning is you can discard a card from your hand, meaning, if I have this, I have 3 cards in my hand. So one of them is red and 2 of them are yellow. I can discard 1 card from my hand that's yellow to scan in a sector that has a yellow scan in it. So I can take one of these yellow ones here and I could put it into my data point down here. All right. The next thing you can do is you can analyze your data. So once you get all that data, you gotta scan it or you gotta analyze it. So once you have all of your pieces of data loaded all the way to the very end of this computer here, you can pay 1 energy to run the data. By doing so, you get one of these blue symbols that helps you unlock one of the alien species on the board. We didn't really go over the alien species ways of finding them, but if you go to the scan action at the very top of the arc, you can get a red if you have a majority when all of these scanning data points have been taken. So if you have a majority here, you'll get the scan red point. And if you land on a planet, when you're doing the land action, you can get a yellow piece that will help you get into finding an alien species. The next thing you can do as a main action is getting a tech. So there's a tech board on the upper side of the tech board, and there's 12 different techs. So you can upgrade your scanning for any techs here. You can upgrade your landing, so meaning that you can put out more probes, you can land on moons, you can pay less for a lander or an orbiter, or you can add a tech for your computer, meaning that you can have another sub action or a sub point that you can put a data point into, and those will give you more rewards. If you don't have any other actions to do, you're going to pass. When you pass, you're going to take the deck of cards that's on the furthest left above the tech track. You're going to look at the cards and you're going to keep one and you're going to put it back. After everyone is passed, we're going to go to the next round. You're going to get the income that is on the very bottom of your cards. You're going to get the sum of the card that you started with, along with all the cards that you've stacked under income. You're going to play 5 rounds of this. At the end of the 5th round, you're going to tally up your score on your board, along with any points that the alien might give you. So sometimes an alien might give you 3 points. You're going to add your milestones. So if you've attributed one of these milestones, to to obtain a milestone, you're going to pass a certain point on the victory. When you've scored victory points, you're going to pass the 50, 25, and 75 point on the track. Once you've passed each of those points, you get to mark one of the available milestones on the farthest left point of that milestone. And then you're going to score any cards that give you effects. So some cards give you end game victory points, so they'll have the yellow on the bottom. You'll score those, and whoever has the most points will win SETI. What do you think?
Yeah, so before I played SETI, before SETI came out, I would say this is probably one of the most anticipated games of 2024 for me, and kind of exceeded my expectations. I think it does a really good job of making you feel like you're building yourself to explore the galaxy and find out what's there, and it's a very nice build up to get there. It feels very rewarding once you get up there, and I think it's a really great feeling as you play this game when you're building out your tech and you're building out what you can and can't do, and then you're building out the cards that you're tucking underneath it. It gives you a very rewarding feeling as you move further and further out into the game. What about you?
Yeah, I echo everything that you say. This definitely feels like I'm kind of searching for lost species out in the sky and in like Jupiter. Like I'm landing on Jupiter.
Yeah.
I'm finding, some sort of trace element.
Yeah.
And then at some point I'm discovering that, that alien.
Mhm.
And whenever you discover an alien, you actually get a reward based on if you've contributed to finding it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a card or some other resource.
Mhm.
One of the cool things too is that it kind of has that feeling of orbit. So
Yeah.
I think I might have not mentioned, but whenever you're the first person to pass, or if you decide to upgrade, get a tech card, you
Mhm.
actually rotate the planetary board.
Yeah.
So each of these boards are going to rotate, starting with the first one. So the smallest will rotate first, then the medium will rotate, and then the whole thing will rotate.
Yeah.
That's one of the cool things I really liked about that too, because you might be, not be able to get to Neptune.
Mhm.
And then when two rotations come, suddenly, I am straight shot right into Neptune.
Yeah. It's what's funny, the rotating aspect of the game is really cool. It feels gimmicky at first, but it impacts so many aspects of the game in terms of what you can do, how you're scoring, and what you take from the game.
Yeah.
So you really want to pay attention to the rotation of the board, which is cool, which is really works with the space theme and what you're doing out there. I really, really like that. It wasn't just a gimmicky cool thing that you're doing rotating the board, that it really impacts what you're doing. It's really cool.
Yeah. How do you feel about the resources in this game?
The resources, yeah. Just the credit and the energy. I like that it's just those two, and they didn't add like a bunch more.
Yeah.
To the game, because you are already you're already keeping track of a lot of different things. The main two resources are the credit and energy, but you are gonna have like the data and stuff like that. But that's not really.
Yeah.
But
I feel like when it comes to like these resources, you're so tight on these resources.
That's
like it feels like in the very beginning, you're almost doing like one or two things and then immediately passing for your turn. And it feels like I haven't done anything on this game.
Yeah.
But it has that kind of scaling aspect.
Yeah, it makes the tucking more important because of that.
Because that income, the more you build it, like by that fifth round, say you've tucked 4 or 5 cards already, then you've gotten a lot of resources now. You have a lot to do in that last round.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And each aspect of the game in terms of what you're doing, the orbiting, launching the probe, the scanning, all those things are very different, but it works very well.
And they kind of tend to tie into each other a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to scan. So scanning not only gives me the data point for me to run a computer, but say I need to put a data point onto my computer, but I can put it on the piece that gives me the publicity. I'm only at 5 publicity. I need 6 to do another tech. I can now just add it in, get the publicity on my next turn, do a tech.
And it's funny, I was just thinking about it because if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that these are the kind of games that we enjoy. I lump this in with something like White Castle and Lost Ruins of Arnak, in which this is sort of an efficiency engine, right? It's how you can prolong your turn by doing as many things as possible, because that's going to garner you the most resources
Right.
and the better ability to go out and do more things.
Mhm.
So we were just, we're gonna like the game like this.
Right, and then like they add like CGE when it comes to like Arnak, right?
Mhm.
They loved using the multi-use cards.
Yeah.
The fact that these cards have 4 different uses, like you can
Mhm.
use it for the discarding for the top left, you can scan in the region on the top right, you can use it for income by tucking it on
Yeah.
the bottom right, and then you can use it for the effect.
Mhm.
So each turn, like to some, this might be like an overload of information,
Yeah.
but to me, I think it's just so like really like clearly laid out. Like,
Streamlined.
I
very
wanted
well.
data. I could use it for this, but my income, money's hard to come by.
Yeah.
Do I convert this to income?
Mhm.
Can I land on Mars or Jupiter and get myself an income to put this in there?
Yeah.
And like I just love the use of like multi-use cards. These are great.
More games should have multi-use cards. More games should be giving you options in terms of what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
What you can do, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think this works well. 4 uses is great, especially in a game where resources can be tight. It's giving you opportunity to use cards to gain more resources or save it for something else. I do like that a lot. One thing I do really like about this game, and I know we brought up Lost Ruins of Arnak, which, Lost Ruins of Arnak, you move it up the board and you're discovering things. This one has the alien aspect of it, which I think is a really great use of that, discovering things later on in the game.
Adding a new rule set, adding a new deck of cards. Yeah.
And new scoring potential, which is also really fun. Once it comes out, whatever strategy you had at that point can change when the alien comes out, because there's now new scoring opportunities, new ways to get that, and it changes kind of the play style. And you have to decide whether or not to continue what you're doing or really try to also incorporate what the aliens are doing out on the board.
Because I think like we've played through, I think, at least 4 of them roughly. We've played the data one. There's one. I don't think if you've played that one, but there was one where if you play these certain types of cards of this alien, if you play the most power, you actually lose 20 points at the end of the game.
Wow.
Yeah, so that one was like, you can play as many as you want, which gives you a lot of victory points. But if you played the most in terms of like attempt number or something like that, then you get the most negative.
Yeah, that's this speaks to like how cool it is that it changes the game halfway through the game.
Yeah,
that you're playing normal and all of a sudden everything changes and everyone's kind of shifting their gameplay style mid-game to account for the aliens coming out, and you don't know what aliens are coming out.
Right.
It's really cool. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, it kind of does feel a little bit multiplayer solitaire in that regard.
True.
Because what you're doing doesn't really affect your opponent unless you're shifting the board when you're playing a tech or you're passing. But I think like just the puzzle of trying to get everything efficient is really something that just speaks to me right now.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed this game.
And one thing I like, which also goes with my con a little bit, is that they give you this iconography booklet here, which is really good. More games should have that.
This is so clear.
It's very.
It goes into all the text. It goes into like the 3 types of text. It goes into every single milestone. And then on the very front of it, you get to see every main action and you get every free action. Yeah. And it's pretty explanatory. You don't have to really reference the rule book again.
Yeah.
You just need this player aid.
And when I first started playing the game, my main thing was like, the iconography is rough. And it is to an extent. Some of it is hard to grasp the first couple times. They look very similar to each other. I like iconography in which you can look at it and just kind of, figure out what it's telling you it is. This is not one of those games. The iconography is hard to decipher a little bit in terms of like what you're doing. But it works that they give you this booklet that you can reference very easily. So even though the icons are a little tough, it's not going to delay your first game because you can reference this very easily and it's very clearly telling you what you're doing.
I wish more publishers like would give like small little like pamphlets like this out with each of the games, just explaining like the main pieces that move around.
Exactly.
It's great.
Yeah. So in terms of a score, what are you scoring this?
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I've been going back and forth as we go through the review on this, and I try not to score too highly just in case the game falls off for me. But I'm going with a 4.5 for this. I really enjoy this. I can't think of many cons for this other than like the iconography a little bit. But again, this booklet like really solves that for me. There's so many good things going on with the game, and it all works very well together. And it really hits that efficiency engine puzzle that I really enjoy in board games. And out of those efficiency puzzles that I really enjoy, this might be up there for me. But yeah, that's why I'm going with a 4.5.
Nice. Yeah. So I kind of mirror that sentiment. Is Lost Ruins of Arnak was one of my favorite games of all time. This to me is actually, I like this a lot better than Arnak. I think the space theme helps. I think the rotation of the board, the techs, I think are definitely like every game you'll want to play a different tech.
Yeah.
Depending on the board layout, depending on the cards you have in your hand. Every game to me feels different, and that's what I really love about games with that. With that being said, I'm coming in at a 5. I have thought about this game almost every night for I think the past month since we played. This was one of the most anticipated games I had to play this year, and it did not disappoint for me. I love this game. This game is so good. I would play this and set this up right now if I could. That's how much I'm into this game right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's SETI.
I thought I was going to have the high score.
Yeah, no, I adore this game. This game is so good. Yeah, that's a 5.
Cool. Well, that is our fresh off the shelf review of SETI. Let us know your thoughts down below. If this is also 4.5 or 5 for you. If you haven't played it and if this kind of intrigued you, definitely want to hear that as well. But yeah, that's our review. I'm Zoe.
I'm Mark.
See you on the next adventure.